everybody. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most important ideas from Stoic philosophy. This idea is called the Dichotomy of Control. And we're going to talk about what it is and how we can apply it to our lives during COVID-19. So, let's get right into it. Part 1. Defining the Dichotomy of Control. What is the Dichotomy of Control? Well, the Dichotomy of Control is a pretty simple idea. It asks us to differentiate between what we have control over and what we don't have control over. To quote the philosopher Epictetus, some things are in our control and others are not. Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and in a word, whatever are our own actions. Things not in our control are body, property, reputation, command, and in one word, whatever are not our own actions. Stoics ask us to focus on only what we have control over. So if you were going to apply this principle to your everyday life, you'd always want to ask yourself, is this thing I'm thinking about, is this thing I'm angry at, thing I'm sad about, is this something I have control over or not? Try not to worry about what's not in your control and try to worry about what you could do. What you could do to solve your problems, or what you could do to try to help or control your emotions and other things like this. That is what the Stoics ask us to do. So here's a little graphic to help us go a little bit deeper with this. So first you want to think, okay, well, do I have a problem in my life? And if the answer is yes, then think about this. Apply the dichotomy of control. Think, can I do something about this? And if you can't do anything about it, well then that's okay. Don't worry about it. Because it's just not something you have in your control. And if you can do something about it, then cool. Don't worry about it. Because that means you could do something to help change the situation you're in and fix your problem. And this is how the dichotomy of control works. So, with that in mind, let's get into how we could apply this principle to our everyday lives during COVID-19. Part 2. The dichotomy of control in personal life during COVID-19. A lot of people are really stressed and upset about what's going on right now because of COVID-19. And this makes sense, but the dichotomy of control can help us really understand how we should react to this. So, there is no way to put COVID-19 under our control. It's not within our grasp. It's a natural event, and we are simply at the mercy of it. There isn't anything you could do about this. Perpetuating conspiracy theories won't help you. Being mad at China won't help you. Perpetuating racist conspiracy theories about China won't help you. None of these things will help you out. But what you do have control over in your personal life is how you react. And the good things you could do are, of course, you could help out people, with COVID-19, you could drop food off in their house because they might not be able to go outside or anything. Make sure you're wearing a mask outside. Make sure you're practicing social distancing and physical distancing and making sure you're quarantining, especially if you're sick and even if you're not sick. And these are the things you could do, and they're tiny things, but as a society, when we do them, they become really powerful. So with this in mind, this important teaching in mind, I want to move on to a different kind of application of the dichotomy of control. Part 3. The dichotomy of control in politics. You might think that the Stoic ideas about the dichotomy of control let us be politically passive. Because, even in a democracy, why would you engage in something like protests and stuff like that? You can't control the government. You don't have any control over what they do. Even a protest can't do that. Well, to help you understand why this isn't the right way to think about it, let's imagine this scenario. You're trying to convince your friend to play a video game with you. So, in this situation, let's think about what you have control over and what you don't have control over. Well, you have control over how you ask. You could be kind and you could be persuasive. But what you don't have control over is how they respond. Because no matter how kind and persuasive you are, your friend might just say no. And this is something you have to accept. And this thing is kind of what happens whenever you ask somebody or something for anything. You have control over how you ask it, but you don't have control over how they respond. You might be wondering, how does this apply to politics? Well, think about this. What is a protest if not, in some sense of the word, a request? It's asking the government to do something, to get something done, to change something. It's a request in a way. And these requests, protests, you could control how they're done to some extent, but at the end of the day, you have to understand that the government doesn't give two craps, and they probably won't give in to any of your demands or do any of that. Chances are they're not going to care. But if you're lucky, they will. You asking the government with a protest or with any other form, calling your congressman, something like that, that is something you have control over. And that's something in a democratic society you really, 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 really should be exercising your control over. So that is basically how we apply the dichotomy of control politically. Part 4. Conclusion. And one last thing I want to let you know is that it's not always easy to apply the dichotomy of control. You do have to think kind of a lot sometimes, like, oh, is this really something I should be putting my energy to? And it can be kind of hard to apply even when you do recognize that some things are in your control. Because, and for perfectly valid reasons, people often get angry at things that are in their control. But it really is important overall to help yourself understand, this isn't my doing. This isn't something in my control. Maybe I should look at what is in my control. And this is a really important and really useful principle I find to apply in our lives. So what do you guys think about the dichotomy of control? Is it a good idea? Have you ever used it or thought about things in this way? And has it ever changed you or influenced you? Please let me know in the comments. Besides that, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And thank you all very, very much.